those that have this chart, the number that belongs in the 0 or 10th column is 794 instead of 992. 992 appears twice in that column on your chart. So change the last one, which will be near the bottom on your sheet. It's on your left. It's on the left on your sheet. From 992 to 794. These are the numbers that you're playing with. There are only 9 numbers and a 0. They are the parents of these 3-digit numbers and all the rest of the enormous amount of appearance of numbers. This can be used as a contemplative chart. The number is often interconnected in its natural chronology from 1 to 9. 814 played the other day. Couplet 14 was right there. I forget what played before, but it's kind of just hooked up, and it's often hooked up. The angle of viewing in this technique is with the triangle. One way to look at this chart. And then the other is couplets. There are only 22 couplets that must play every time a 3-digit number plays. There are only 22 couplets that must play every time a 3-digit number plays. Unfortunately, I don't have those couplets. I lost the sheet, so I got to try to put them back together again. That's taken me a little while. But
what's a couplet?
2 numbers.
2 numbers?
Yes, dear.
Okay.
A straight number is the way the number comes. That makes it straight. If you catch it in the sequence that's on your ticket, 451, and it becomes 154, you still win that number's box, but it's called then combinational. For so-called straight numbers, that's all of the numbers on this sheet except these are straight numbers. There are 6 different positions for each combinational number. For doubles, there are only 3 different positions for a double. If you play 770, you should also play 700. That's the other part of 770. Every double has a counterpart. You always play the counterpart with a double because theoretically it's the same number. With a double, only 2 numbers are playing, but 1 doubles. There are only 90 doubles on planet Earth. If you catch a double straight for $1, if they're going to play with the same 500 to 1 odds as you do in Ohio and other states, that's $600. Theoretically, you could play all 90 doubles for $90 and win $510 if you catch it straight. If you don't, you just get your money back. There are only 10 triplets. You never play a triplet. You play all 10 of them. For 50 cents, cost you $5. For $1 straight, cost you $10. That's better than playing triple 2s and triple 3s fall. Okay. This is an important minor chart. I want you to duplicate this at home and put it somewhere where it becomes visible, just as I advise you to put your chart on a bigger face like this and put put it somewhere where everybody in the house can see it, including Junior, who might one day walk up and say, "Daddy, look." Pay attention. Okay. It happened like that. It happened like that. Those are the 90 doubles. All of the parts are there. In other words, 199, which is the one column, has 991, which is what column? Anybody, give me one quick quits here. Don't look there. You're supposed to look here. How do you find the number in the column?
You add them up.
All right. Well, you should have been doing that here. Get it here. While you're walking down the street, you can put this stuff together. Don't need to do that. It's not difficult. This is very important because it does two things. It helps you win money. Secondly, it dissolves the phobia that the Eurocentric American educational system has tabbed mathematics. Every child learns geometry when they pick up a ball, a block, and a stick. But nobody tells them it's geometry. They tell them it's their toys. If children like a ball, then they would like a circle. If they like a block, then they would like a square and a cube, if they only knew that. If they like a stick, then they would like the line. There's only the circle and the line in creation. That's all there is. How brilliant our Creator is with a circle and a line. Okay. Okay, that you got that. You got that. Next step. Oh, did anybody come up with 970? Is anybody close? The 7 came back. Anybody? We calculated the wrong number, thanks to our sister over there on the camera. Bless her heart. She pushed in, then she's supposed to immediately push Y for New York. But she didn't. She hesitated, so NE registered, and we had, we had New England, yes. We had New England's number, which was interesting. It was 047, and New York was 057. It's very interesting, isn't it? Okay, this is the number that fell last night. If this will stay up here. Those are the 3 columns. 111, 137, 123, 137. Okay. If you don't want to write it all down, just write down the number, then when you get home you can do it. But I want you to take shots at this. You too, Isaac. It's good practice. You want to get your mental and intuitive chemistry turned on to this. But you want to control it, as I mentioned last time. This can become an obsession. But it's better than smoking crack. We're going to look at the second part where some folks got a bit confused. So, is anybody writing this down or not? You writing it down? Okay, all right, okay. Know what you're doing and just don't write it down. This is adding one number to each one of these to get the next set of numbers. 7, 8, 9, 10, back to 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 3. 6, 7, 8, so forth, back to 6. Here it is 1, 2, 3. One number, 7 to 7. 2 and 3 is 5. 2 and 5 is 7. 2 and 7 is 9. 2 and 9 is 11. 2 and 11 is 2 and 1 is 3. 2 and 3 is 5. So forth. You're back to 3. The way you know your chart is right, the number that's up here will be the final number out of 11 movements, which is the vibration of revelation, will reappear. Okay? It's that simplistic. For the second part, in getting the numbers of accumulation, here, let me put this on the camera. They couldn't see this on the last You got to zoom in there. Where's our master cameraman? Is he back there asleep or eating lunch?
She's eating.
Okay, well that's good. Have fun, my brother. We're going to show how to get these numbers here. Okay. and we extract these from this group of numbers. Okay? Everybody got this down? Okay, well, I'm going to erase it because all you need is this. And the fact that this is 111, this is the number at the top of your chart. Did you notice that? The brother that did his chart was Friday, and this is what tells Saturday, 7:36. Interesting stuff. That happens quite often. It's just remarkable how that happens. It will also happen for you. Okay, I'm going to put this back up on the board here. Well, I should be able to get this. Well, I'm devoid of all technological skills. Surely I can handle it. There we go. Okay, thank you. Okay. The number being 736. 847. 958. Those are the first three numbers. Always take the middle number to make this accumulation. 3 and 8, the next one, 3 and 9, and then 069. 3 and 8, 38. 3 and 9, 39. Then these two numbers, the second number and the third number, 45, whatever that number is. And then the third number, 3 and 9, 3 and 0. Then you count backwards 3 times. 27, 16, 05, 28, 17, 06. Are you writing this down? I'm not going to do this every week. Okay, I'm just going to do it once or twice. 34, 23, 12. 29, 18, 07. Then you reach and get the accumulations of those numbers. 1, 2, 3. Okay. How many ones? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 ones. How many twos? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 twos. How many threes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 threes. How many fours? 1, 2 fours. How many fives? 1, 2, 2 fives. Sixes. 1, 2. 2 sixes. Sevens. 1, 2, 3. 3 sevens. Eights. 1, 2, 3. 3 eights. How many nines? 1, 2. 2 nines. Zeros. 1, 2, 3. 4. 4 zeros. That's your accumulation.
What's that on that second line? Is that 2 sevens?
This line here?
No, go up. Is that 2
Yeah,
sevens?
2 sevens, yes.
Okay, then you got 3 sevens right up under that.
Oh, okay.
2 sixes. 2 sixes and
Okay, 2 sixes.
2 6.
Okay, thank you. Thank you much. 2 sixes and 3 sevens. Is that right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay, very good. Thank you much. Okay, very good. Okay, that's your setup. Okay. Once once you get that, you look to see out of practice how the numbers are flowing. The number 5 represents a number of change. My suspicion is one of these numbers would play. But the first thing I do is I look at to see how many sevens, 3 of them, how many 6s, and how many 3s. 5 3s. So immediately, my intent would be to use 3 as the lead number, to track the whole of each column with the 3 and extract each number as you would with here. You'd move the 3 down to make 837. You move the 8 up to make 836, which is a fast number, and you'd move the 7 up to make 737. Wherever else you would find a 3, you do likewise. Move it up and move it down. Then move the other numbers to that 3 or that 6, whatever your gained or decided lead number is. Got that one clear? Okay. Now we're going to the tit-tac-toe system, part of the system. It's 2 parts. This is the upside. This is the downside. You start counting from here, from your right-hand corner, square, on both of them. Going up, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Just fill in the gaps. Then you do the same thing on the downside, going in reverse. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's how numbers move. Okay, then you look to see what's missing.
Got 2 3s there.
That's all right. That happens. I'm going west. Okay. What's missing here? 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5. I'm missing on this side. They're not in the tic-tac-toe on the upside. So you put them low. I usually write it in red to make it conspicuous. And you look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 8, and the 9 are not inside the tic-tac-toe. Then you look here at the numbers extracted. Very important. The numbers that are not there often play. Something I discovered on my own. It's not in anybody's book. Discovered on my own. The numbers that are outside of the tic-tac-toe are the numbers, or one of the numbers that are active. The verification of that is to go to the top line to find out what numbers here are on the top line. The secret is this. Almost 25% of the time, which is not very much, the entire number will be on the top line. The entire numbers will be on the top line. You got to search for it, but you search with a chosen lead number. That's important so you don't get lost and frustrated. In other words, if your lead number is 3, keep 3. 3's up there. The 8 and 9 is up there. And the 4 is up there. So your first set of... Everybody got this down?
Yeah.
Okay, we got this little small board to work with, so I'm going to have to erase it. Then I'm going to have to remember what I was doing here. The 8 and the 9 is on the top line. 89. Couple it. The 4 is up there. That's 894, one of the fastest numbers on here. Really boogity, okay, around the country. Boogity fast, 894. One of these numbers may come back or may not come back. This number has been playing regular all week in New York. It should be about bottomed out by now. You know, not necessarily, but you remember we were dealing with this number last week, and it had played 4 times last week in New York. And here it is again Sunday after Saturday, and it's back with us again. So it's got a track record. And you pay attention to that. Usually, a particular digit does not play any more than 4 times, except the extraordinary 8. In Ohio, the 8 played all week, every day, Monday to Saturday, every day. Which meant that if you felt that profound about it, all you had to do was extract all the 8s out of here and just play them. You're the one Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you know, because all of the numbers with 8 in it are on here. It's about 35 of them. 35, 36, which is another system. It's a little more expensive, but we're talking about winning. Keep that as the uppermost important factor in our mind. This is about winning, not gambling. Very important to appreciate that, because your spirit appreciates that. Okay. Then you take these numbers and you couple them. In other words, you got 45 and 89, so you make up 45, 48, and 49. You have 3 couplets to work with. You take those back to, turn your sheet back to the columns, and look for those couplets in your columns connected to your lead number, as to whether it's a 3, a 7, or a 6, or some other digit. I would look with the 3 if I selected the 3, because it's fast. Huh? 4 and 8, 4 and 9, 4 and 5. So you couple these, whatever these, sometimes there'll be 4 digits at the bottom, which means you'll have 2 sets of doubles inside. Sometimes the double is right in the tic-tac-toe. Sometimes the double is here. The number is here, or here, or here. Sometimes it is here. Sometimes it is here. Sometimes it is here. Sometimes it is here. This is the way I'm talking about looking at with this angle. Here and here, 136. Here and here, 704. Here and here, 751. Here and here, 426. Okay? With the Star of David is really what you're looking at. It's one way to see. They don't always fall like that, but it's one way to see them. If you put your charts in color, your eye and your intuition will have another advantage. And you'll be eating, and suddenly you put something in your mouth, your eyes will go like this, and you see the number. It's deep. Spirit will show it to you. Okay. It's a very good idea, because energy has color. One morning, Isaac will get up and put on the number of the day. I'll be walking around with it all day long. Then, at 7:35, when the number comes, ding 'em! I've done that. One interesting that a woman, not a young woman, but a woman brought me a flower. She came in with 2 flowers, pink flowers. I forget what they were. And I noticed them right away. Well, she walked in with not flowers in my mind. She walked in with a pair of 8s. I immediately went to hunt with the 8s. I did not have enough money to play all of them. I didn't select right. The number that fell was 828 that day. But I told her about it. I don't know if you want to know. Pisces, they'll never come back and say, "Oh, thank you so much." Anyway, what I'm saying, it works. It works. It really does. It really works. Okay. Any questions about the tic-tac-toe? Okay, that's all we're going to do on the numbers today. There is more. As we go along, it gets more certain and more certain, because we're going to broaden our scope. We have some friends who are going to help us out. You're going to carry with you. Always take buddies with you on this numerical tour. We'll talk about that later.
We're going to use that chart when you flip back to the person.
Yeah, you got all these. You already got these.
She doesn't have.
She doesn't? Okay. That's not your wife? I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not.
It's been a long time.
Okay. All right, okay. Well, okay, the only way you can get this is let me do your chart. Because I don't want you stuck on numbers. I want you to know something about yourself. That's why I'm here. The numbers thing is something I'm giving you because I know it will help you. But if you're not into the knowledge of it, you leave room for the obsession of these numbers to just swirl around in your head. They do because the circuits are already there. Numerals is in our brain. It's in our spirit. It's our sense of rhythm. It's what we're talking about. We're not talking about these. Those are symbols. We're talking about spirit, energy, power, intelligence. Okay? So it's about know thyself. Your spirit knows all these numbers. If you want to know who really knows them, no one knows when they're coming. You see? So it's about within. You know, we're talking about going within. I heard one brother running down this stuff about this whiteboard. It's this one. Leave that boy alone. Get into you, God. Leave the whiteboard doing what he's doing. He gonna mess it up. But we have to reconstruct our work. You need your mental time and energy and your ability of concentration and contemplation, the next two steps after meditation. Okay, let's get on with self-knowledge. We're going to talk about a very important gland in the human body and a priority to spiritual success. And it's the gland that most human beings never master and really don't want to deal with because it's so hooked up to the kind of mundane lifestyle that most human beings live wherever they are, and that is glandular living, appetite, cravings, hungers, our natural biological urges. Those are the hardest part of the ass that Jesus rode in on to tame. That's the symbology of him riding into Bethlehem on a donkey, a barrel, or an ass. The most stubborn of animals is the human body, not the donkey. The most difficult part of the earth to take dominion over is the human body. The glands alone will give the appearance that a human being is intelligent because they have a systematic manner of functioning. We are animal body, evolved to human body, moving towards our spiritual body. We are always on three planes of existence simultaneously. The ordeal is man know thyself and man master thyself. I got some verses here I want to deal with because I want to interconnect this with the Bible so that you'll have both biblical knowledge as well as Moorish and metaphysical knowledge. And when your friends drop those fundamental gems on you, and as if they're really pulling your coat, like the old dude who's written a book, and he comes over in the beautiful restaurant, and me and one sister was talking. I don't know if she's here now, and he comes over and he leans down and says, "Brother, the real meditation is Christian meditation, is prayer." So it's good. And for him, it works. You know, I mean, you can pray yourself into a contemplative state. But there's a point when the prayer and the worshiper are stopped by their own spirit. Barbara King was giving a sermon and she got very excited, very passionate woman, and very sincere. And she was supposed to be teaching, and she started preaching. And she got going and started repeating herself, and she went like, and the Spirit just stopped her and held her still. To let her know she'd gone far enough with the zeal. Her ministry is, with all thy getting, get the understanding. She's supposed to explain what she's saying and not rivet off words to thrill her congregation or to churn their emotions so they become just passionate devotees. There's nothing wrong with devotion. It's important. But it is not the greatest secret to the inner kingdom. It is silence, where the real God touches your God and brings you inside. Let me just find these pages that I left right on the thing here. Wasting time looking for stuff I already got. My reader here today, is she feeling up? She's not here?
Yeah,
Oh.
she's not here today.
Oh, she's not? Okay, you want to read?
Yeah.
Okay. Turn to Matthew chapter 16. We're going to begin with the gland of elimination. And involved in elimination is renunciation, the two factors or facets of the power of elimination. Okay, read Matthew 16, 19.
Okay.
Got it?
I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven.
Supposed to be loosed.
Loosed, excuse me. Yes,
Okay.
loosed.
Very important here. Let me reread. Thank you very much. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. The next statement is the key. Okay? It doesn't come later on. It sounds as if when he gives them the key, they will then do this. What is being stated in that verse is the key. He's telling them of the law of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. As without, so within. Whatever you shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Where's the earth?
Physical.
All right. Where's heaven? The mind. Understand that that's a major key in Revelation, why most ministers cannot unlock the symbology of Revelation. They are thinking outside of themselves. The book of Revelation is about inside. Otherwise, he would not have told John to swallow the book, to eat the book. And in his mouth it is sweet, but in his belly it is sour. The entire book of Revelation begins inside each human being. But what is inside is also where? Outside. But it's got to begin inside. Okay. The divine plan and dispensation of revelation is within you, not out here. The God within you is the one who will transform you into God. The one who will save you is within you. That's important for us to understand what we're talking about and what we're doing. Because of the fervor and passion of the believer, seemingly is forever outside until his spirit, by grace, yanks him in. You know, it keeps him in there. Reverend Otis Newton, my spirit held me still all day and all night. scared him. He didn't know how to meditate. He was sitting there, scared to death. Spirit told him, don't you move. You better not. But he didn't know how to meditate. Interesting. But he's grown. He's grown quite a bit. What we're talking about in terms of elimination, first of all, let me point out the organ. I wish I'd done this chart here. It's a much better chart. We're looking at the chakra, but the vertebrae comes right down in here. Can you all see that in the back fairly well? Okay. At the very tip of the vertebrae, the coccygeal part of the vertebrae is where the coccygeal ganglionic nerve center is. It goes right up under your testicles or your vagina. There is a very sensitive nerve center there that is responsible for defecation and urine release. I mentioned those two first because those are the ones we are most familiar with in terms of getting stuff out of the body, but also in terms of our denying of release. Any body physical ailments, problems, are indicative of mental and spiritual problems. Every problem that registers on and in the body is a symptom of some maladjustment on our mental and spiritual plane, no matter what it is. Even the itching is symptomatic. That's how intelligent we are. That's how intelligent the spirit is, the universe is, nature is. I wanted to draw a picture of the colon and bring it here, but I just didn't want to get too graphic. So let me just kind of, first of all, put this down here because this is important. The organs of release. The first organ of release is the organism of your skin. The next one, ears. The next one, mouth. And the last one, but certainly not least, the alimentary tract. That's from the mouth throughout the entire body to the anus. All of those organs, the mouth, the trachea, the esophagus, the abdominal, the colon and the semicolon, lower colon, smaller colon, and the anal tract are all interconnected. It is one long piece of human physiology, all interconnected. If your colon gets clogged with old food, usually pork, but not always, foods that the natural human body does not have acidochemistry to digest, to dissolve into a liquid. The human being can only use liquid forms of nutrition in its body. So the old statement of, boy, you better eat these beans and greens and pig knuckles so you have something on your stomach, is not a health theorem. You do have something on your stomach, but it may not be the kind of food that does for the body what food is supposed to do. When the colon gets clogged, this is usually what happens to the good-looking guy who's made like that. Then 20 years later, after he marries this beautiful woman, and she's a wonderful, marvelous cook, he starts looking like this. You seen those guys with those round abdominal midriffs? You wonder if they're pregnant or not. Sugar does that, essentially. But when the colon gets clogged, and the colon, ladies and gentlemen, will hold defecation in your body for years. It is a part of the karmic problem of the well-to-do. I'll put it that way. I won't say rich because many of us are well-to-do in terms of being able to eat every day, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times a day. Yeah, we're doing all right, huh? And we get clogged. I heard a fundamentalist supposedly doing prophecy on a television show, and he pointed to the audience and called out one of his members' names, says, "Brother so-and-so, the Lord says tonight you're going to lose 80 pounds. And I know that the guy, being a believer, saw a miracle coming. And all the Spirit was going to do was send him to the toilet all night long. That's all. That's how much defecation the colon can hold in the human body. 80 pounds of waste. People will die because of that alone. Not just because of the weight of it, but because all matter in the body still makes a chemistry. And that chemistry backs up and goes back up into the stomach and passes through the walls of the stomach into the bloodstream. It gives you all kind of poisons. They need new names to define and describe what new ailments you have. Bad food. The power of elimination helps to remove all waste from the body. A very important power. A very, very important power. The first part of the power of elimination is renunciation. No, I'm not going to eat that pig feet. That stops it there. I've had enough. Today I won't eat. I'll just drink juices or water. If you're not doing that mentally, you can't do it physically. Your thought factor changes your chemistry, not food. Thought changes your chemistry. You can heal the body. You can get a sudden healing from the Lord, from the Holy Spirit, from a healer in the congregation. On Sunday and Monday, pick up the same pig foot that got you sick. Our thinking, our thoughts, our attitudes, our understanding must be applied to our spiritual development. It is not easy. It was seen by Jesus as being so hard, he changed the other Judas' name to Thaddeus. Large-hearted, stout-hearted, courageous, who governs in the 12 powers of man, governs the faculty or center of elimination. That is courage. And it takes courage to deny ourselves our pleasures, to refute our cravings, to control our appetites, to change our diet. It takes courage. It really does. But especially when somebody makes you mad, you'll run to the icebox. I've done it myself. Okay. To stand still and know your own truth takes courage. Takes the inner conviction of your own divine heart that you really want to change. We are inheriting a new level of culture, not new, renewed, revisited. We are inheriting an Afrocentric intellectualism where black men sit around and talk brilliantly about the world, about antiquity, about God and scriptures. You see. That's called mental masturbation. and does one almost no good at all. It's interesting, and it churns the juices. You know, you feel wonderful after you've told the brother 6 different ways to see the world. But it's not dialogue. Doing. And in meditation, the hardest part of doing is not doing. Some black folks ain't got a whole lot of practice in it. The action of inaction. It is the aphorism of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. What Jesus practiced so well. The ability to be still and know. Not for hours. How about a few days? The great ones contemplate God. Sometimes all week. One great master practiced the silence 7 years. Sat still. 7 years. He wasn't in the body, though. His body was there, but he wasn't. I'm trying to emphasize the importance of grabbing your inner world and taking control. Flushing out the enemy on these minute levels. Doing battle with the enemy within. Begins with thought. Thought makes chemistry. Chemistry makes mountains, frogs, pestilence. The lumps and the bumps is what is being registered in Moses cursing the land of Egypt. The hardening of Pharaoh's heart is what? Arteriosclerosis. Isn't it? Yes, it is. Changing the water to blood is what we're doing in spiritualizing and developing a healthy body. In turning the Red Sea red, in parting the Red Sea, so that the Hebrew children could be released. Let my people go. Let the divine thoughts, the divine chemistry, the divine nutrients, the divine energy come through and be free. Perfect energy cannot reside where dead energy is. Good food cannot make a good body where bad food is. That's the metaphysical level of the Bible in both the Old and New Testament. Your human body really is the temple of God. There are all kinds of holies within your human body that really are sacred and divine. You discover these as you study, as you meditate, and as you experience your own human change and development. As you release through the skin organism poisons, not just sweat or perspiration. The sister with all of the bumps on her face, that's a release. The body is throwing off poisons because they cannot be dissolved within. Perhaps the correct nutrients are not there. The correct vitamins and minerals are not there. The ear releases wax. The nasal passage. I forgot to mention that. Getting dead matter out of the body. major factor. Don't underplay that. Meditation is the right direction, but do what John did. Make straight the way of the Lord. Okay. Get the stuff out of the way so that the new energy can come in. If you're wondering why you're going so slowly, perhaps that's a part of the pausing of your development and your experiences. You recall a wonderful story that the preacher used to love to preach somehow, of Sodom and Gomorrah and Lot, who was assisted by 2 angels, and then after being taken out of the people's hands by the angels, and the people of Sodom wanted to corrupt them, he told Lot and his wife to go forth from that city. He was going to destroy, burn that city. And told them not to look back. But Lot's wife turned and looked back. Anybody remember what happened to him? Okay. Very, very, very good analogy in terms of what happens when we mentally turn back to the habits, the addictions, the preoccupations that we outgrow and overcome. We call back up that collection of thoughts. When you call back that collection of thoughts, a similar type of chemistry comes back. Causes congestion. Again, salt being a preservative, being a clod of dry powder, becomes coagulated, stiff, and dead. Arterial sclerosis, hardening of the arteries, other body ailments, not due to the salt or the calcium or other deposits, are thinking. That's important for us to understand. Why we don't need to gossip, reminisce about the good old days which were horrible, and to concentrate on the problem delays the solution. If you want to heal yourself, concentrate on being healed, not figuring out the romantic definition of the problem. The old lady on the bench syndrome. Honey, my doctor said I got, and she goes into 8-syllable words. That's what he said I got, honey. Yeah, and I know it's right because it hurt me all the way up my leg and all of my back. And I got to go back and get a Revco tomorrow and get me some more of them pills. Cause, honey, this is bothering me. But my doctor goes on and on and on about her problem and her doctor and this medicine, that disease. And she keeps holding it in place. That's not healing. There's nothing in the drugstore that can heal you. Absolutely nothing. It will give you some relief. Nothing in the drugstore. Spiritual healing not only closes the wound and the broken part and puts it back together, but it renews it, restores it, said David. The restoration of one's soul, the restoration of one's body parts, of one's mind, is taking it to another level. So that part doesn't get sick anymore. The important thing about understanding the Egyptian definition of the word Christ as Kres, as Asares, means indestructible. Not just anointed. It means anointed, mummified, and crowned is what it means. You're coming to this point where you're no longer vulnerable to the world. That's how you overcome the world. Be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. He didn't say he'd overcome the earth. He said he had overcome the world. Anybody remember what the word world means? I still got to give you all a little test on it.
Lord.
Huh? Oh, world.
It's either the Lord.
Something, oh, you're close. Like the iconographic writing.
Lord.
No?
It's old.
Old word.
That's right.
Old word.
That's what the world is made of. The old word made flesh. This isn't Jesus. This is flesh, made out of the energy that began all things. That's the old word, the world. It's not the earth, it's not the planet, but energy. That is degenerating down. We're trying to get the new word, the word of God, that goes the other way. That's the word we want. You have within you, as each human being, a perfect divine blueprint of your godhood. On top of that, you have several bodies that Paul refers to as the spiritual body, or spiritual bodies. When he makes reference to the stars having their glory and so forth, symbologically he's talking about the spiritual bodies, the astral body, the mental body, the causal body, and the body of light. All of that covers you, a unit of awareness or essence. You're in all of those bodies. The one outside of you is the least perfect of all the bodies that you have. Of all of the houses of God you live in, this one of the flesh is the most dense, limited vehicle that we have. So we are to transform it. Be ye transformed by the... Somebody finish that one. All right. Very important. Thought. That's your next superpower. That's better than Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan. They ain't even doing that one. Divine thought and the power of divine thought. To make the mountain get hints. Again, the boils, the lumps, the deformities, the dis-ease, the distortions in your physiology, your anatomy, and your chemistry are the mountains that you want to get hints. To renounce the negative is to affirm the positive. A pain in your back does not mean your back hurts. Oh, my back hurts. Oh, Lord, my back hurts. Oh, Lord. And the more you say it, the more real it becomes. Instead of just the opposite, my back feels fine and perfect. I feel the joy of God in my vertebrae. Right then, you change your energy and your chemistry. As soon as you say that, as soon as you think that, it changes. They're doing that in some hospitals now. They've got patients using affirmations, using meditation, using music to heal. They finally acknowledged it. Of course, now they write books and say, I've discovered that if you take, well, fine, okay, Doc. They have to come to the metaphysical school if they're going to heal. And now, many of them know that. And many of them still walking around with hammers and saws in their bags. Well, let me help you. It's deep, man. Physician, heal thyself. The finest healing tool you have is your own mind and the spirit within you. And the stout heart to take up the courage to heal yourself. David, Samson, by the power within you, you heal yourself. Vitamins, minerals, and nutrients are important because you have to put something back into the body that's supposed to be there that dis-ease takes out, that the 7 vials eat up, that the poisons in the body. We're in a biochemical era. 50% of what we have on is made out of chemistry. Almost 30% of what we eat in a box, a bag, or a bottle contains synthetic chemistry. The beds we sleep in, the cars we drive, chemistry. And they have poured out the 7 vials. And much of it is doing us great harm, while it's also doing great good. And that's usually the case when you're on the plane of duality. That's where we are. But as a spiritual being, as the Son of God, as G-O-D, you are to become indestructible. That's your work. And your whole inner being awaits that work. See? Galatians, not Galatians, I think it's in Corinthians. The whole creation groaneth in travail for the coming of the sons of God. Groaneth in travail. That's what a pregnant mother does, isn't it? She groans for the child to be born. We are late on our clock of destiny. Elijah Muhammad and a few others, Father Divine, almost Martin Luther King, didn't quite get there. Or a few examples of the expression of godhood. They're not our gods. They were way shores, as there are others who have reached the plane of God and are still on this earth. That's not important. What's important is you reach it. Then it is really important. Then you can really holler, hallelujah, and praise the Lord. We need to understand we're talking about bringing all of the ideas of the glory of God within ourselves to become that of what we are designed to be. John chapter 10, verses 31 to 36, a reference point. What's his name? Not Swagger, the other one. Carwell, or something was on television this morning. I left my TV. Farwell, yes. Left my TV on last night, woke up, and there he is in the face. Doing his little fungal. There'll come a time when people will be trying to deify themselves, or it's going to get terrible. I mean, he's got the Bible in one hand, and this ignorance coming out of his mouth. It's amazing. If you wonder why the human race is turtle crawling along in the great pool of evolution, maybe it's because their teachers are spoon feeding them instead of really giving them a fine meal. Well, we can't change that, but we can change ourselves. What time is it?
10 after 5.
10. Okay. golden calf, I would only be reiterating myself if I talked about that. Something very interesting I found in the Bible while I was reading Genesis. I wrote it down because I didn't know this particular name was in there, nor this particular set of verses. I know I wrote it down. Where? Question. Oh, I know what I wanted to read. Okay, very good. Glad I did that. Anybody got this book, 12 Powers of Man? Okay, they have 10, 11 copies of it. It's an excellent book. It's a format in which Catherine Ponder wrote her book from. There's biblical and other information in this book that's not in The Healing Secrets of the Ages. It's another book I recommend quite highly. On page 149, concerning what the brother who teaches history was saying, I'd like to read this. I thought about you when I seen this in the book here. So it starts on page 148. And it's in relationship to the power of renunciation as well. When the body becomes locally infested with bacterial thoughts and separates from higher self, a forced removal of the adverse colony by surgery sometimes gives at least temporary relief. Man is the dominant thinking and character-giving force of the earth. He has made it a place of desolation when it should be a paradise. Because of his lust, anger, arrogance, and ignorance, man has been tormented by pests, storms, earthquakes. Tradition says that in the dim past, this planet's mental atmosphere was charged with the thoughts of men and women who exercised the power of mind in lust, arrogance, and ambition until extreme measures had to be resorted to by the planetary god. This story, and he puts in parentheses, which is much a legend, relates that perversion of nature and her innocent life energies began cycles ago when man, in his first exuberance of psychic power, built up a priestly hierarchy in the ancient continent of Atlantis. Does anybody know who are the descendants of the Atlanteans?
Of course.
Interesting stuff. Okay. These masters of black magic dominated the world and disposed the cosmic mind. Extraordinary measures of safety for the whole race became necessary, and the higher powers planned and carried out the destruction of the continent Atlantis and all its people. The very soil of the continent which these occultists occupied had become saturated with lust and selfishness, and had become and it was condemned as unfit to remain a part of the parent planet. The corrupt soil was scooped out of what is now the Atlantic Ocean and thrown off into space, where it became the lifeless mass known as the moon. The earth reeled like a drunkard under this terrible surgical operation and still wobbles out of true perpendicular, the result of the shock and of the removal of so large a part of its body. Before this catastrophe occurred, a tropical climate extended to the very poles. I will read anymore. Okay, so he wrote about the same time that Elijah Muhammad was meeting Farad. It's interesting, during that cycle, Divine, Sweet Daddy Grace, Prophet Jones, Noble Drew Ali, Deuce Muhammad, and a few others were being educated around the same period of time, were being spiritually raised. Also, Mary Eddie Baker, Charles Fillmore, Ernest Holmes, and a few others. Also around this time, yogi masters from the East, were getting on ships on their way to the Western Hemisphere, all within a cyclical period of time. You can verify that by seeing the dates on their books and when they set up their movements. So the period of dispensation had happened. It's already happened. We're not waiting on it, as many fundamentalists seem to keep saying. It's coming, it's coming. It's already happened. 1965 marks the beginning of a spiritual injection of divine spirit for the masses of folks in the Western Hemisphere. It's already started. Not to dwell on the negative or the problem. I don't like to do that. But to get and deal with the benefits of being here. These are very special times. The universe, the Creator, and the gods, or whatever religion they're over, are willing to help. I'm saying you can get raised all the way up in this cycle. That's important to know and to precede that. Not know it for me. Ask your spirit. That's what I'm talking about when you precede it, to know it from within yourself. This is a very special cycle where great things can be granted, will be granted, have been granted, are being granted even as we speak. I want to doubly emphasize that because things will go on and you'll get to this point where you'll seem bored sitting there. Nothing's happening, nothing's happening. What am I sitting here clothed? I could be in there eating that peach cobbler. I mean, all kind of stuff will start in your head. When you really get serious and you're almost about to have a breakthrough, that's when the devil gets busy. Subconscious mind, I mean. We're going to sit here. We're going to sister told me to call at 3 o'clock. All this stuff will start happening. That's when you need to know. Be still and know. To let the stuff subside. Release the ideas. Change the ideas. This is a part of mental elimination. To refute the fear. Oh, it's demons doing it. Demons are coming. Okay. No, I'm not buying it. Not accepting it. And turn your attention to the light within and affirming the light and the power of God within. Do that every day. You use affirmations every day. Use them more than you do aspirin. You strengthen the mind and the brain's lobes. So when you think a thought, it has as much power as throwing a baseball at 90 miles an hour. That's what you're trying to get your mental plane to the level of. You can stop a car with your mind if you see it about to hit a child, if you have on the head of God. Or to stop it from running over you. That's important. We are on the great shore of self-discovery. It is important to us and to the Creator. The Creator can't get its work done if we're not prepared to take on the power to do the work. The angel's not going to come flying down here and do all this stuff. That's us. Working through us, for us, to help each other. That's who you're waiting on. If you see Jesus, you're going to see him there. Every eye shall see him. That one. He's going to be wondering what you're doing. Is you ready? You up? Huh? That's what he wants to know. If you're ready to stand on the plump line and get off the dead level, that's what it's about. Great things are on their way. Great things. Great wonders to behold. But the ones that I'm trying to cue you into are the ones inside. Not the phenomenal things that have been going on and are going to go on outside. That's all psychic, phenomenal, newsworthy stuff. You want the things to happen in you that keeps raising you up. So you finally say, Ana el Haq, Ana el Sham, I am the way, I am the light. That's what you must confirm at some point in your spiritual walk. That's each one of us. And maybe not so boldly and brassly. Quietly, it is just as good. Any questions? Okay. Put everything down. Question. Yes, sir.
You mentioned last week that you were going to tell us something this week about sales salts.
Oh, yeah, all right. Okay. No, I'm not going to tell you anything about cell salts this week. We're going to do a whole 12 weeks on the 12 signs of the zodiac, which will include the real meaning of cell salts and the powers of the body. Okay, the body is important. And along with that, we're going to do the 7 seals, the real revelation of Isis. Okay, that's the next series. And we're going to work with Kriya Yoga. And I'm going to give you a higher technique than you have already. Okay? To really get the job done, you're going to be well armed. If you don't get it done, it'll be your fault, not mine. Yes, sir?
Okay, 2 questions. You mentioned another 12 weeks.
Yes.
Okay, could you elaborate on that?
No, I will not.
Okay.
We're still doing this 12
Well, what I meant was, are we going to go straight through?
Yes,
From
yes.
this 12-week period to the second?
Yeah, talk about that.
Okay, well, if they're interested, I already mentioned that to whom, if she's interested, we will. If not,
okay.
then we'll have pause or something else. That's mine.
Let me put it this way. We're going 7 days. We need a break. Okay?
7 days?
Yeah,
break.
we're working 7 days a week. What we need to do is maybe move this to a Saturday.
Okay, we'll
So
talk
we
about
can have
it.
a day off.
We'll talk about it. Would you put my meditation regular? Okay, we're going to go back and start with our first affirmation. And we're going to go all the way through the group of techniques. The first one, as you recall, was that of breathing, which is very, very important. Hold on a second. Get this up here so I can reach for it when I need it. By bringing, quote, air into your nostrils, you're bringing something else, and that's energy, prana, which energizes the brain as it oxygenizes the brain. And that's important. You literally draw life from the energy around you that revitalizes your brain and your brain cells. Very important. It's a good exercise or practice for in the morning when you feel sluggish and really trying to figure out how not to go to work. But you need to be there, or how not to go to school, but you should. Then reawaken yourself with your own energy. Okay? The left nostril is the moon, Luna, cool energy. The right nostril is Suna, the sun, hot energy. Let's begin with cool energy. 6 each nostril. Out through the mouth. Again. Now the right nostril. Now that works as to whether one of your nostrils is clogged or not. The nostrils are never fully closed up, but one swells while the other one opens, so that the current of energy are harmonious. But when you get them flowing evenly, the alpha wave brain length begins. When they're both open and your energies begin to settle down and meet at the same time, they begin flowing at this similar wavelength and rhythm. That's when you go right in to the inner worlds. That's what you're trying to do, quieting down. The great I am, Jehovah, Yahuwah, in its esoteric, in English. Breathing through the mouth, get some oxygen in your lungs. I'll demonstrate. I am that 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 I am. We step it up each session and changing the octave or frequency of the sound of the pronunciation of I am, the highest statement you can make in English. Okay, let's do that. I am that 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 I am. I am that 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 I am. I am that 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 I am Feel the energy. Changes consciousness. Let's do 6 ohms, 3 out and 3 in. Close the O quickly after starting the Om. 3 times. Om. Six vowels. Softly at first. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow. Down, down, down. Down, down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Feel in. Place your attention on your heart center, right in the center of your chest, between your pectoral muscles of your waist. Bring the rose to your heart center, just the rose, just the picture of a beautiful red rose. Keep focused. centered on love, and a red rose. Remembering that the rose smells the way love feels. See the rose opening in your heart center. Know that your heart center is open. I am filled with divine light. Together. I am filled with divine love. Again. I am filled with divine love. Again. I am filled with divine love. Love flows through me like a river. Together. Love flows through me like a river. Again. Love flows through me like a river. Again. Love flows through me like a river. Bring your attention up to the very center of the inside of your brain. No focal point, just find the center inside. Relax, no tension. I am filled with the presence of a golden light, raised to the level of a godly height. Together. I am filled with the presence of a golden light, raised to the level of a godly height. Again. I am filled with the presence of a golden light, raised to the level of a godly height. Again. I am filled with the presence of a golden light, raised to the level of a godly height. Again. I am filled with the presence of a golden light, raised to the level of a godly height. Hold your position. Feel the energy within. Be still and know I am God. Together. Peace, be still and know I am God. Again. Peace, be still and know I am God. Again. Peace, be still and know I am God. Feel the energy, feel the spirit. Love, peace, and power, and so it is. Together. Love, peace, and power, and so it is. Okay. God bless. We'll find out exactly when we're going to pause for a break and how long. Because of the two owners.